When it comes to development in a region, data centers are increasingly becoming the center of the conversation. They're one of the critical backbones to our modern society, powering cloud computing, streaming, and artificial intelligence. While many of us rely on the convenience that the digital world gives us, the growth of data centers hasn't come without controversy. Across the country, concerns have been raised about environmental impacts, heavy demands on electricity and water, and the possibility of higher utility bills for residents. The St. Louis region is looking to invite more data centers, and conversations around these developments has seen a lot of support and pushback, which raises the question, does St. Louis need more data centers? We put out an ask over the last few weeks on our social and web platforms to see how the community felt about the new data centers being proposed in our region, and we got a massive response. So what is a data center, and why is it such a trending topic in St. Louis? There are different kinds of data centers, and they all have different impacts on the community. Some are enterprise, which are typically smaller and owned by a single company. Colocation rents out space to multiple companies and are more common. And then there are hyperscalers, which are massive facilities built by tech giants to power cloud computing and artificial intelligence. And these are currently facing the biggest controversy. I wanted to see if I can find a real example here of some of the concerns. There are several data centers in St. Louis, and they're actually easy to find. So we reached out and booked a tour to see what's inside. This is a colocation data center called Hosterian. It's been around since 2001.
Our customers are nationwide. I've hosted data for some of the largest companies on the planet, all the way down to Main Street and solopreneurs.
So this is our deployment in 2012. What the description of this build out is a cold aisle containment on a slab floor. So we contain the cold air in this 600 to 900 square foot space, pressurize this space and push the cold air through the servers so that there's a very consistent temperature on the processor.
They also showed us how they're experimenting with new ways to help computers run more efficiently, using mineral oil.
So this is what we believe the future of compute is for cooling. This is liquid immersion. There's two different kinds. There's liquid submersion and immersion. This is immersion. So as you can see, the oil goes across all the components of the server.
Mineral oil immersion cooling is seeing an increase due to high-density computing. It's more cost-effective, and it allows computers to use less utilities. So there's no shortage in this right now.
There's no shortage of mineral oil on the planet. And we use it for 5 years, right? So that's a pretty long run. And the only thing we're running is 2 fans and 1 pump.
We then went outside to see how much air conditioning is needed for the rooms we toured.
Well, this is the generator for the whole building. So if the power goes out, the generator will run and power the entire building. These are the air conditioners for that one room. That one room is 225 kilowatts, the whole room. And it requires these 2 air conditioners when it's 100 degrees outside.
Before we left, we wanted to see if noise pollution was an issue as well. Coincidentally, there was a trail right behind the building that led to a residential community. We walked all the way through, and we heard nothing from the air conditioning units. See, I'm over here right behind the apartments. The systems of processes and practices for this data center have worked for this area for a pretty long time. So can we expect to see similar ethical practices from potential developments? We reached out to Ameren for this answer. They say they're working to meet the growing demand while balancing reliability, cost, and community impact, things residents have been greatly concerned about.
How do we review one of these projects to ensure that obviously that they have no impact? So before any of these projects could even connect to our system, they're required to submit a formal request to our team. That formal request goes to our engineering planning team. We have an engineering planning team that looks at our entire system and looks at how loads interact on the system to ensure that we maintain reliability for all our customers. And then additionally, we have a third party in called MISO, which is our regional grid operator called the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator. They manage the entire grid, basically going up from Canada all the way down almost to the Gulf of Mexico. So between all those standards, not only us, but a third party, we look at how that load will interact with the system to obviously ensure reliability.
In addition to all their checks and balances, they have aligned their tariff with a new law that Missouri legislators passed in 2025. Senate Bill 4 changes how utility rates are set and adds new rules for large energy users, which includes hyperscale data centers. This law could affect where facilities are built and how they impact communities. As new proposals emerge for these large-scale facilities, everyone isn't convinced that these kind of data centers are good for their communities.
A data center may be described as infrastructure, but it draws immense amount of water, it consumes enormous amounts of energy, it produces heat and noise, and those impacts are not evenly distributed.
In Franklin County, Missouri, residents came together on March 1st to continue the conversation about a data center proposal. It was presented at a public meeting by the Pacific Planning and Zoning Commission. Developers abruptly ended the meeting after not being able to finalize a funding agreement.
Any one of these elements that go into a data center can pose a risk to our environment and to our safety and health of our being.
It's big, it's going to be loud, and it's going to consume a lot of power.
We know that data centers are extremely controversial.
On April 17th, Mayor Kara Spencer gave her State of the City address, where she talked about where the city stands on data center growth.
This is admittedly a challenge. There are real concerns when it comes to data centers, real founded concerns about pollution, noise, walkability, the use of water, electricity, increasing everyone's power bills. And as a city, we can address some of those issues, but not all of them.
In St. Louis County, a major redevelopment project was submitted at the former Emerson site in Ferguson. The private development proposal is estimated at $1.8 billion, with the potential to grow even larger over time.
A deal this big, this complex, and this incomplete should not be rushed through as if nothing has changed.
Residents came out to a city council meeting on April 23rd to voice their thoughts on the proposal.
You know what our district is suffering. You see daily what our kids are facing. And then to strip money from our district right now is a slap in the face. All right.
After hearing public comments, newly elected Mayor Adrian Shropshire decided to postpone the decision.
I would like to make a motion to postpone that.
Then, on May 4th, the proposal was ultimately rejected by the City Council, and they plan to explore other options for redeveloping the campus. Though the concerns and protests persist, one motivation of inviting more data centers is the economic impact that these facilities bring. Many in the computer science and development world point to Northern Virginia. It's the world's largest data center market. According to Virginia's Joint Legislative Audit and Review Commission, the data center industry's annual contribution to Virginia's GDP is estimated at $9.1 billion as of 2004. I reached out to speak to the Data Center Coalition that's based in Virginia to get more information about this.
Data centers are a significant driver of local revenue. And we have seen data center revenue helping to address affordability concerns in communities. We've seen data center revenue help communities keep taxes low or actually lower taxes even further. But we've seen since about 2020, really around the pandemic timeframe, a dramatic increase in demand for digital infrastructure as the need for all of us to stay connected. And as we have seen the increasing digitization of the economy, the need for that infrastructure has gone up significantly. We're on what is a very steep curve for demand.
I think what people are afraid of are the videos they've seen online.
In 2023, Musk founded xAI to produce and sell artificial intelligence. Eastern Ox lives just over a mile from xAI.
I really wasn't getting the fresh air. I was getting that pollution that was mixed in with everything.
You know how you light your stove and that gas seeps with the little ticking noise? That's what it smells like.
When I go to my room at night, the tonal noise immediately triggered my anxiety, to the point where I couldn't sleep. I ended up having to go down on my first floor and put noise-canceling headphones on just so I could sleep.
but for Donna and her neighbours, this is just the start. Over the next few years, they will find themselves surrounded by a string of new data centres.
Can you respond to at least, the information we do see online of people who have been negatively impacted living near a data center?
I do think that some of the pushback is based on what I would call misperceptions around the data center industry, both in the services that they provide, and that's that AI is not the be-all, end-all of data centers. In fact, the vast majority of data centers being built today are for cloud infrastructure, which is really the underpinning of everything we do.
Despite the talks of economic development, it still leaves many residents skeptical, as we have never seen developments like these and are unsure how it will shape our region.
I am absolutely against data centers, primarily on the environmental aspects of what data centers have been doing to local communities and to local businesses.
We just found out that the one in Pacific was being proposed just through someone sending an email out on Facebook. That they had emailed neighbors saying, hey, did you know our neighbor sold his farm and they're wanting to put a data center in, and no one even knew about it. It just seems like they're wanting to move really, really fast, and they're wanting to get these things approved. And I feel like we don't know enough about them to be making those kinds of decisions right now.
Some city leaders in the region are deciding to move forward with these developments. Just 4 days after the State of the City address, St. Louis City has approved the $3 billion proposal at the Armory site, and Festus, Missouri approved a $6 billion proposal. The question now isn't whether data centers are needed or if they're coming, but where and when developments can take place and how it will shape our region's future.